Hello, and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Jameelah, and I am a master manifester, and I'm sure you are too, because you're watching content like this. The name of this channel is Holistic Manifesting because I believe in a whole body, whole mind, and whole being experience when it comes to manifesting these amazing lives that we're choosing to live. What I'm discussing in this video is the importance of understanding that your mindset is a self-fulfilling prophecy. I'll say that again. Your mindset is a self-fulfilling prophecy. A lot of times people only attribute that to things that are seen as negative or like a trope in a superhero movie. And this guy's father was a certain way. And what they're talking about really is generational curses. And this person believed a certain way. So therefore, they suffer the same detriment, the same doom. But it also refers to a self-fulfilling prophecy of all of the beautiful and good things and the abundance and the freedom and the peace in life too. When you think about a self-fulfilling prophecy, you always have to remember that your mindset controls just about any and everything that's happening in your space. If at the end of the day, everything that you think about and everything that you do and everything that you are interacting with in your head, it goes to a negative space, you are creating a self-fulfilling prophecy for yourself to experience things in a negative fashion. There's no way of getting around that. If you believe a day is going to be bad, rarely does it turn out good if that's your mindset. Normally, that mindset of believing that it's going to be a struggle or feeling that it's going to be a struggle or feeling that you're not going to get what you want or feeling that it's not going to be peaceful, that feeling, that energy is going to convey into everything that you interact with. And if you happen to pull out a little piece of that day that came out great out of all the stuff, 9 times out of 10, if that's the mindset that you have, or if you know people that have this mindset, they'll pull out that one thing and say, oh, that one thing did happen good today. But if you let them talk a little bit longer, when the subconscious mind kicks in, all of the things that are negative, that aren't working, that should be better, that is, frustrating and all this kind of stuff is going to start coming out directly after that. If people don't realize sometimes that they're their own worst enemy when it comes to the way that they think, then they continue to create the same situations and circumstances in a pattern over and over and over again. It is so tempting to want to say that it's coming from the outside in, but we all know that we experience life from the inside out. Like how we feel about a certain circumstance in our life, how we feel about a certain environment is generally what we're going to experience. This is reason why 2 people can have the exact same workplace, work in the exact same department, be the exact same demographic, be the exact same ethnicity, gender, and all these sort of things. But when they come in the office, one person is having an awful time being there and the other person is having, it's not so bad. It's because of the self-fulfilling prophecy and the mindset behind that. Whatever you're thinking it's going to be, whatever you're putting out there that it's going to be, that is what you're going to experience. I can even think about myself being caught up in a pattern, in a loop of being in different environments to where no matter how I approached it, I always had like a negative aspect or a negative perspective on it. So at the end of the day, even when there were a few good days here, a few positive areas here, ultimately the negative belief system that I had behind it, that I felt was hiding every time things were good, is like I didn't dive into the good. I just felt like the negative was hiding, right? Every time that happened, it went right back to what I was trying to get away from. Our minds and the way that we think about things and the way that we move around in this world impact so much of what we're experiencing that we have no idea. Even if we find ourselves caught up in an environment or a place or a position that's truly something that almost nobody will call non-negative, we have to find a way to see it as something that's going to catapult us into the area and the places and the belief systems that we want to have. I was listening to a creator the other day and they were talking about how almost never did they have a negative moment or a really deep low valley in their life that didn't turn into something bright. I remember there was a time in my life, and I still feel like that now too, where I always thought of, well, that rough thing happened or that thing happened, there's something positive is definitely coming, right? That opportunity slipped through my hands. Well, I know that I'm in the right place. I know that my alignment is right. I know that my mindset is right. Something even better is about to show up, right? It's because in my mind, that mindset that I have related to things that don't go the way that I want them to go, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. I think that it's always going to work out for me. And guess what? It always works out. And some people can feel like, well, that's so self-serving and that's not humble to feel like everything's always working out. I think it's the opposite. I think it is humility to feel like everything is always working out, because what you're saying is that there's a higher power that's always at play. And I am just a vessel for the beautiful things that are happening in life. And my only job is to continue to be a really good vessel for the beautiful things. And then the beautiful experiences will come through me. If I can get beyond looking at my immediate circumstances and saying, I don't have enough money for this. I don't have enough time for this. I don't have enough, friends to pull this off. I don't have whatever it is you're thinking that you're in a deficit of. If you can pull yourself out of that mindset and say, hey, but guess what? It's all working out for me. It's all going to be where I want it to be. You don't have a reason to be frustrated. That's not going to say you're not going to experience moments of frustration, but your baseline should come back to, this is going to be a positive thing. This is going to work out for the best. And I'm going to treat people, and I'm going to treat the environment, and I'm going to have a positive attitude. I'm going to be so beautiful in this negative experience in anything that I'm working on in life that people are going to want to wonder and flock to me and think like, you were going through so much. How did you remain positive? How did you keep that positive attitude? They're going to want to be in your presence because they're going to want to have access to that light that you have tapped into. And I even know this from being like in workplace environments when things were just like detrimental. And they were like, how come you're not bothered by this like we are? How come we're not angry about this like we should be? And I'm like, because it doesn't control my life. It doesn't mean, it's not my whole experience. It's not the whole experience of the very essence of who I am. It's not that big, not big a deal. And when I tell you, when this negative stuff was happening, people were flocking to me left and right. I even have a whole 6-minute video that coworkers made to tell me how wonderful I was and working with them and how beautiful the projects were. And it's because they saw me going through something that normally most people would have just like, oh, this is so unfair. This should not be me. I've seen other people get away with way more, whatever. And they saw me going through it, and I remained positive throughout. That's not always the case in my life, but I've noticed the mindset will be fulfilled. And because I knew this, even more blessings keep showing up. I'm not even connected to this environment anymore, and I just got a huge blessing from this environment like yesterday. And it's been a while. So your mindset is a self-fulfilling prophecy, whether or not it's for the good things that you want to experience or whether or not it's for the bad things you want to experience. You have to think about, what is my default? What is my default mindset? When I'm talking about people and places and things, where do I normally go? And there's always enough willpower. There's always enough personal power to not fall into those old patterns. And whenever you just get by without doing it for a minute, you have to give yourself a pat on the back. Say you're a person that's bogged down with the spirit of gossip. You can't help but gossip negatively about other people all the time. You got to give yourself credit for if you had one conversation with someone and you stop yourself, or tell yourself for 1 hour, I'm not going to think anything negative about other people. I'm not going to even judge other people for this 1 hour. And then that hour passed and be like, let me do it for another hour. The more and more you practice being on that side of the spectrum, the better and better and better it's going to get. So we just have to keep that in mind. Self-fulfilling prophecies can mean negative things in our lives, and they can also mean positive things. And if you are a person that always feels like no matter what's happening, it's always going to work out for me. No matter what's happening, I'm always going to see the best version of this. No matter what's happening, I'm always going to be grateful for the experience and that I just get to be here in the first place and have the experiences of other people and being connected to these environments, right? If you're a person like that, then you can't help but to keep on excelling. You can't help but to keep on expanding and growing and keep on elevating and leveling up. Even when you're not forcing the level ups, even when you're not telling people, I got to have this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to make this work, I'm going to make this happen, I'm going to fight for this, fight for this, fight for that. Even when you're not in that mode, if your mindset is in the right place, it's going to keep on consistently creating situations to where you go higher and higher and higher. And people around you are going to wonder how you get this life, or you get to experience things in such a beautiful way. And all you're going to be able to say is that your mindset is in the right place. Now, for some people that may rub them the wrong way if they know their mindset is not right. And if it rubs them the wrong way, a lot of times their mindset is probably on the negative side of the self-fulfilling prophecy. But I always offer to people, generally, that is the best advice that I've ever had. Even raising kids alone, even having finances that weren't right, all these different aspects of my life, having uncooperative people in my life when it comes to like raising my daughters, all those little struggles and shifts and all that kind of stuff that had to happen. The honest thing that I can say throughout all of it, I was like, this is going to work out for me. And I never thought about at the detriment of others, because I don't really care what's going on in their lives, right? What I was focused on was like, I'm going to make the best of this. Get a mindset of I'm going to make the best of it and see where that takes you. See what levels that mindset takes you to. See what self-fulfilling prophecy does in your life. Anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day.